Welcome to the CEO Story, brought to you by KC Chauhan, founder of Together CFO, where every week we're interviewing the top CEOs in various industries, sharing their journey and extracting the top things that made them successful. Hi guys, got a fantastic episode for you today. We've got Troy Hoffman. Troy's built over 6 companies that have reached over $1 million. He's been on the Inc. 500 list, as well as many more achievements in life. So Troy, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. How are you doing?
Awesome. Thanks, Casey, for having me. It's been a fun day already. We've been working on a whole new product line for the supplement company and the rebrand and trying to launch it this morning. So it's been a fun day so far.
Fantastic. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background? And the supplement company is one of many. So why don't we take it from there?
So currently, the main company is called Simpluris. We are a class action settlement administration company and also do different areas of corporate remediation, data breach, lien resolution, kind of Chapter 11 bankruptcy work a little bit here and there. But that's the main company right now. And what we've done with that company is we built a very giant ERP software platform. Now we're for ourselves to use, and now we're basically kind of taking it out to the market to government agencies and giant corporations and giant banks and everything, so they can start using this whole integrated platform. So that's kind of the one main company. We've got the Troy Hoffman coaching and brand, which I don't have too much time to put into, but we do spend a lot of time coaching entrepreneurs, part of several entrepreneur groups, EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. A lot of us volunteer and help each other out. Working with a lot of running our own little coaching programs, launching that. We just launched Hatch, which is an online course right now to how do you grow and scale businesses. Just trying to share everything I've got so you don't make the same mistakes I made. And then we've got the supplement company, kind of started playing with the idea about 2 years ago, kind of went to product about a year and a half ago, just launching one bottle to figure out how to sell one bottle to kind of learn online marketing better. And so now we're running, I think we're, about $150,000 a month run rate there with basically just 3 products. We're about to launch 7 more there. And those are the main ones right now currently, Casey.
That's fantastic. So you've had a lot of success over your career. Let's start by breaking down the companies from the past. So you've built over 6 companies that have reached the $1 million+ mark. The first one went to from 2 to 5 million. 2 of them have went past 5 million. Can you break down how you would, just in high level, because we don't obviously have too much of your time, but what steps did you take an idea from inception to testing to launch to execution?
So someone just asked me this and we were just kind of joking. So it was pretty easy. The first thing was a t-shirt business, and it's old school t-shirts. You go and print up 12 of them with some logo you come up with and somebody buys it. Then you buy 12 to goes to 36, and 36 becomes 72, and 72 becomes 144 shirts when you're ordering these, right? And it just then we started rolling another idea and another design. And over several months, we kind of built the website, and this is started in 94, and kind of started getting the online sales going. And then we started traveling and doing the conferences, and then someone says, hey, can you do shirts for us? And next thing you know, we're doing Amway conferences and youth conferences and these kind of where all the bands show up and play, kind of Lollapalooza type things, but in the Christian world. And then we started doing we found another designer, made all this surfwear and then skatewear, and it just then we drove around with boxes in the car. So for about 2 years or several years, 2 to 3 years going through this. And then someone said, hey, can you build a website for us? We're like, sure. And so we kind of had a little tech team. My buddy Travis at the time was helping us build these online shopping carts if someone else wanted it. And then someone else saw what we built and someone else, and that's how we created Value Web. And next thing you know, we started getting these huge accounts, right? But I also, during both of those, I was at 18 to 24 doing all this. I didn't have the coaches. I didn't have a CFO. I had no idea what taxes were. I had no idea what business licenses were. I had no idea that how to screw stuff up, how to get yourself in debt, how to do contracts.
You had no systems or processes in place. You were just going.
We learned how to use access databases we built for our ordering. We got the tech and we got the product right, but we didn't know the business management, didn't know the psychology, didn't know how to the legal side. Like there was zero coaches. There wasn't like this online space. There wasn't people like KC sharing this type of information to the whole entrepreneur community. And we grew so fast, and then all of a sudden things just started just falling apart. People weren't paying their bills. We gave them a bunch of product. There was no contracts. I kind of took people on their word, and all of a sudden you get so much stuff out, then people don't start paying you. And then we build these huge websites for the back end, and then all of a sudden like, hey, we're not paying you till it's done, but we needed cash. And, we didn't really understand how to really do this right. So it became just kind of collapsed. And I could have easily saved it if I would have had good coaches, mentors, some consultants. I didn't even know guys like CFOs even existed exactly back then, so it was very interesting. So.
Yeah, so I think a lot of touch points there, but generally speaking, if we were to summarize it in a couple of sentences, is you had an idea, you started small, and then you just ramped up the quantity. It's even easier these days because you don't even have to have an inventory spend with drop ship and private label and things like that. And it makes that world has advanced so much to now. But okay, so then let's move on from that. So you started, you built it, you had some problems, and then what did you do to kind of start something new or kind of get over that in your mind? Because you're still a young guy at this point, and you've built a company, you've obviously had a lot of ups with some quick money coming in and then losing it all. Where were you mentally at that point?
I was like 23, about 24 at this time. Man, it was crappy. Like I ended up moving back to my parents. Had to lay off, I think it was about 20 something people, kind of involved 25 or something like that. Man, it sucked. I would drive around at night and sedate. I'd smoke cigarettes and drink Mountain Dew and think my world was over, and trying to still listen to all the tapes. And thank God I got lucky enough to do one thing. Like my dad was a chiropractor, neurologist, internal medicine, clinical nutritionist. He got around like all these like chiropractic conventions, right? So we were kind of exposed a little bit to the motivational world, and he always listened to this stuff. This guy, Markham on management for chiropractors. And so you kind of like, and I kind of had those tapes, and around, 16, 17, 18, I was listening to all these tapes on the lifeguard tower and driving around the car and trying to do other things. Like I was just listening to the tapes 24/7 before all this happened. So I had the Zig Ziglars. I started having all these remote mentors just from the mental side. So I was like, okay, this is only part of the journey. The failure is part of the journey. And I was able to kind of like think of all these stories, like what happened to Zig Ziglar, and when he was fat and he was trying to sell the pots and pans and his challenges. And then I had Jim Rohn, and I had Charlie Tremendous Jones, and I had like Brian Tracy, and then I was just trying to devour this stuff. Mark Victor Hansen talking about having the vision, having something that you can see in your mind that you're going to accomplish no matter what. And if it wasn't for that, I think I would have been really completely destroyed, right? It was those people, those thoughts, those things that got inserted. The books, I got an Amway at 17, so you had books, tapes, and functions. So all of that kind of really helped limit the disaster in my life. And I was like, okay, what's next? And that's where I went to college.
Got it. So you worked on yourself, you built your mind stronger, even though you were at a low point, moving back home, laying off all your friends and your colleagues. It must have been tough, especially for a young guy as well. Got to remember, you're pretty young at this point, 23. And then to kind of be a sponge and soak up all this information and really drill it into your subconscious so that you knew that this was just part of your journey going forward. It was just one chapter of many, and believing that there is more success to come.
Yes. I mean, I'm a huge fan of books, tapes, and functions. Like that was an old Amway saying, but now it's like Audible. Now it's getting a hold of online courses. It's devouring the e-courses. Like I still devour courses even at this level, but instead of going to the course, like I find whoever wrote the course, I call them up and I pay them to consult with us now. So I spend one-on-one with whoever created the course now. So I can grab their information and try to shove as much in here as I can, because without changing our mindsets and without changing our skill sets and changing our vision, like nothing shifts in our life. For things to change, I must change. For things to get better, I must get better.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins in there, and it makes a lot of sense in terms of you want to be trained or mentored by the top people in the business at whatever level that is. So if you can't afford to kind of go hire them individually for hours mentor or coaching. Well, you can get the CDs or the e-courses or the online YouTube videos that they all do for free.
Half it's free. Like, I mean, there's like unlimited free stuff. You could spend 3 years educating yourself. MIT's got free stuff. All the colleges and universities have free stuff. I mean, it's so amazing how much free stuff that people are just dumped out there, and there's no secrets. It's just stuff we haven't learned yet.
It's being more resourceful. I think, a lot of the things it comes down to looking inside, but right now in the world that we live in and technology, the way it's advanced is if you can become more resourceful, you can pretty much learn anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So then fast forward then, you've rebuilt yourself after this, after you lost your first company, you went back to school, you learned a lot, you absorbed a lot. Then what happened after that?
So I started a day spa while I was in college, waited tables and bartending. I started picking up waiting tables when everything was falling apart to make money. I was so terrible at it. I got moved from like a back waiter to like a busboy that cleared the table. Couldn't even deliver the food right. So I was just kind of like the bread boy. I had to start where you grab the bread, put it on the plate. You know what I mean? So I like the restaurant industry. I was able to make incredible money at fine dining back then at these 2 different fine dining restaurants. And I learned a lot from there, like people skills and even moving faster and better. And the day spa, we got off the ground, it was full, and I was able to actually sell that. Like my partner bought me out, which kind of gave me cash to kind of like move out to California, move out to help start this other company out here, gave me like a kind of like a security blanket of cash flow, right? And I feel like, and then I also picked up a job waiting tables and bartending at night here for another fine dining type place where you can walk in and 6 o'clock at night and walk out at 10 o'clock and make $300. Take home, very little taxes tracked, most of it cash tips still in Orange County. And it was just a great way to make, $6,000 a month, almost cash free, and still work in the business all day, 8 in the morning, 8 to 5, 8 to 6, every day, 7 days a week, every night, waiting tables or working on stuff. If I wasn't working, get up at 5, 6, work out and go to work and then run the pace and just keep doing this day in, day out, day in, day out.
So you were disciplined. You had a good schedule where you knew, hey, I've got a little bit of security blanket over here with some money. I'm making some money from my day job, but the rest of the time, that's where you were really putting yourself to work.
And in 1 year, I did $3,000 in sales in that company. It took me 12 months to get $3,000 in income in that company.
So what happened to do that?
We had to create we had to market to people that were extremely high end. We were selling a high end product. I had to learn the product, create the marketing. And it's a giant service industry where people give you millions of dollars to manage, to send out mail, to receive responses, to send out tax payments and checks at the end. So it took a long time to build faith. I mean, we were delivering 20 to 40 boxes of Krispy Kreme door to door to door every day. I would stay up and create my own marketing pieces. I would call and cold call and call and cold call. Next year we did 350,000. Year after that was like 1.4 or 5 million. Next year was almost like 4.5 million at that company in 3 years and 10 months. So
let's just run through those numbers one more time. So for people that are listening, they can really absorb that. It took you 12 months to set up the company. And then in the next 3-month period, you made 300K.
I think we did 352 at least, maybe we can do more, like the actual cash collected, right?
So you built a foundation, you took your time, you systematically did it step by step by step, testing, tweaking, optimizing. And then when it all kind of clicked together, it then kind of turned into this rolling machine.
And I think the quote is this: you got to be faithful with a little before you're made faithful over much. Don't expect a week or 2 or 6 or a year. Like, it takes time for people to really do well. People that are exceeding in something have either gone through a lot of prehistory in an area. Very few people just pop at something and just take off. They have some type of background. They were raised a certain way. They were educated in a certain way where they grow. But if there's a whole concept to the economics of endurance and the willingness to kind of grow yourself and keep working on your mind and your skill sets and keep studying and learning and just, every day just keep applying. And I swear, as soon as you let off on that, like, people have this fantasy, I feel like, right, that you can just let off the gas and cruise. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs, like truly deeply, like billionaires, to people making millions of cash flow a year. And I even know the guy that wrote the 40-hour work year book, but he worked 100 hours to get to the 40-hour work year while he was stepping away from that business to work on the next things. You know what I mean? And you're always kind of working, you're always monitoring, you're always developing yourself. It's never just, the people are just never just hopping on a private plane and chilling like the rest of the week. Even the people that say they work.
Let's talk about that. I really like that because, the world that we live in today is pretty much instant gratification in everything that we want, whether it's ordering food and having it delivered pretty much right there and then,
Correct.
Or whether it's Amazon next day delivery, or even better than that, 2-hour delivery on some groceries and things of that nature. The world is kind of, with technology pushing us forward, has evolved into this. You can pretty much have most things very quickly if you pay for them. But that's not the case with building successful businesses that will last the long term, right?
Keyword is last. You can rocket ship something, it'll rocket up and crash back down without you being the leader you need to become, without the systems, the processes, the people, the capital, the financial management, like without all the HR and all the pieces and all the tech and all the things that make for sustainability to occur. It takes time to build and architect and run and manage and pull, even with the best people around you, even with our little supplement company we financed it. We also have a guy that's built massive brands in the past, online marketing, and a girl that's been trained for years in social media and marketing and elite, a guy that's run large companies, kind of all part of this team, another guy that was like scaling up another company in Chicago. Like with these people involved together, even like it's still, we're growing at 15% a month, without dumping huge cash and wasting a bunch of money. But you got to build it systematically, and even growing it then, you still got to be like, oh, put the brakes on. We grow too fast, make bad decisions, it dumps.
And that's with top talent, right? So I think the key thing is even with top talent, it's taking time. So if you're a solopreneur or you're on your own and you don't have an infrastructure, it's going to take you a lot longer, argument's sake. But I think a key part to really emphasize is you don't have to do it alone, right? There's infrastructure out there. There's people you can reach out to, or incubators or coaches and things of that nature that can support you and guide you in the 100%. Areas that you're not strong at. So for instance, with myself, I'm a finance guy, business and finance and numbers, that all makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not so strong on the marketing and the sales side and that, the attraction side of it. So I've definitely spent tens of thousands of dollars kind of trying to fill those gaps and put the right people in place. So I know firsthand the value of doing that and having good coaches in my corner. What have you done? You mentioned you did the tapes, the seminars and things of that nature, but in building, let's just use the supplement company as an example, where you might not always have the cash flow to bring in top talent from day one. What are some of the things that you'd recommend? So
I'll tell you the story here. So one is people always want to jump from here to here really fast, right? What I almost want to tell people is like, don't deny yourself the opportunity to learn it all. Don't deny yourself the opportunity, if you're not good at quote unquote marketing, to go to Facebook and watch their free courses, to go learn all the things about marketing, to buy the books, on copywriting. And like, I literally bought these books on copyright. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I can picture it in my mind right now. But, I went to the seminars that Garrett put on, this guy, Garrett J. White, on online marketing. I made friends with guys like this.
The warrior guy, right?
Yep. Garrett J. White, amazing online marketer. And then hang out and spend quality time with Jeremy, who built all of his marketing, built all the videos, and then try to, down the road as I could afford it, actually pull Jeremy into different projects. But like, when you deny yourself the basics of understanding, you're going to fail down the road. You can only lead as far as you've gone. You can only lead based on what your level of knowledge is, or your ability to pull in another leader that can help guide in that specific area, if that makes sense. And so when you learn it yourself, when you truly have done the work, you can guide, you can gift people the knowledge and the intuition and the ability to say, here's exactly what I want from you. And you almost got to go through the process and go through those painful years of failure, the painful years of growth, the painful years of learning. I call them the wilderness years. You've got to go through these wilderness years. And if you don't, you're going to shortchange yourself somewhere someday. And it's these wilderness years, or you're lucky where you were raised in the right family, you were raised at the right school, and you were raised with the right mentors, you were raised with the right capital people, the right coaches. You're able to just assimilate it all in the way, and you've got a super quick brain. And there's people like that. But then there's other people like Naveen. He's done $3 billion in exits. He started not with a family that had
Naveen
that.
is a very good friend of mine. We actually did some mindset webinars together.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Naveen. Like my brother and I went to his, if you get a chance, check out innovationbootcamp.com, guys. It's fantastic. Naveen's a guru at finance. So my brother and I, Naveen and I were in Warrior together. And then my brother and I went to his conference. Fantastic. My brother did his coaching program. And it was just awesome, man. Naveen
signed up for the coaching program in May.
You did?
Later this month, I'm starting the cohort.
I love Naveen. Like, Naveen's a fantastic guy, and it's getting around guys like that. That's where you expand your circle of influence by showing up at, like, meeting guys like Casey, or going to these events and going to the online things, and joining the different chat groups and Facebook, and trying to make friends with all these different people, because you're learning, you're gathering information. So keep going, Casey.
Fantastic. So as we go to wrap up, where is the best place for people to be able to reach out to you and connect with you?
So, man, I do this type of stuff because I love it. Because I don't want you to fail like I did. So, I mean, I tried putting out this show called Fireside Chats on YouTube and Facebook. And there's Troy Hoffman on Facebook, which is like, we're constantly trying to write stuff and share stuff and post stuff. And even on Instagram at Hoffman Troy. And we're constantly just giving out, trying to share all the mental and emotional and physical and spiritual things in any way, shape, and form that I'm learning, so I can take it from me and impart it to you, basically. You got TroyHoffman.com. You've got, I'm not even sure what else you even have right now. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm super easy to find. If you really have a problem, you really need somebody there in your corner, you feel like no one's there for you, you feel like no one believes in you, you need someone to talk to for a minute, or you want to book 15 minutes or a half hour, an hour, let's talk. Because sometimes all of us just need a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help, someone to say, I believe in you, man, I do. And like what, and we're able to look at someone and talk to them and help find that one thing that's going to move them forward past whatever barrier they're facing. And that's what I want to be able to do for you, is really help pour back into people. They've had so many people give to me. I got to spend time with Mark Victor Hansen many, many times one-on-one and get coaching. And this guy, Peter J. Daniels, who didn't even graduate third grade and became like a billionaire in Australia. And just be able to be a chauffeur and be able to drive these guys around and they freely poured into me. So I feel like part of my life is to be able to freely pour back into others. So please reach out, guys.
Okay, and what we'll do is we'll put the links right down here, so you can reach out to Troy very easily and very quickly. Troy, I'd like to thank you so much for your time. You've been fantastic and shared some great knowledge. We wish you all the best, and let's stay in touch.
Thanks, Casey. Appreciate it, man.